Hooray for Hollywood! Hello there, Stan the Movie Man with your WIMC.com movie review. This week you chose two films for me to go see. Your selections were 12 Years a Slave and Thor, The Dark World. Quite a broad, range of film there for me to choose from. Or for you to choose from, actually, and I chose to see both of them. Let's start with 12 Years a Slave. Solomon Northup is a free black man living in New York State. He's played by Chiwetel Ejiofor. And he's married, has two children, and is offered a job. He plays the violin, fiddle, and he's offered a job to accompany these two gentlemen who are part of a circus, but they are going off and doing their own sort of mini tour. This is back in 1841. And they are asking him to provide some music. He goes with them, but on the first night they are out at a dinner, they drug him, and they sell him to slave traders who take him to Georgia, where he is purchased by a guy named Ford, played by Benedict Cumberbatch. Because Solomon is an educated man, knows how to read and write, that makes him dangerous as far as the slave owners are concerned. He's urged by other slaves to keep his intelligence and his knowledge a secret, otherwise it could get him killed. And any little effort on his part to stand up for himself or for the other slaves is met with enormous amounts of punishment. The film is devastating. It is a gut punch of a movie. There is just horrendous thing after horrendous thing that happens. And this is all based on a true story. There was a real Solomon Northup who was really kidnapped and sold into slavery back in the mid-1800s. And it's a hard movie to watch because there's so much cruelty and so much violence against the slaves. And I personally had a desire to just walk into the screen and start shooting all of the slave owners. And it is a hard film to watch, but it is a beautifully acted film. Chiwetel Ejiofor is brilliant as Solomon Northup. He is been getting some Oscar buzz for Best Actor, and deservedly so. Michael Fassbender stars also as one of the slave owners and plantation head Edwin Epps. He is one sick SOB. Also is a guy named Tibbets, played by Paul Dano, who apparently is just going to make an entire career out of playing guys on screen that make you go, yuck. The whole cast is terrific. It is, like I said, a cruel and painful film to watch. And while I think it's a brilliant movie, I have absolutely no desire to see it again. It's just too much for me. I'm giving it 5 guitars. The second film, Thor: The Dark World, completely different. It is, of course, the return of the Asgardian known as Thor, played by Chris Hemsworth. There is an evil presence that wants to return the universe to darkness. The Dark Elves, who are led by Malekith, who is played by Christopher Eccleston, who also used to be a Doctor Who a few years ago. And he is going to release this weapon called the Ether, which is going to do something to the universe and turn it back into the state it was prior to the lighting of the stars. It's going to be a dark world, or a dark universe. And it's up to Thor to keep him from doing that. Of course, Loki's along for the ride, played by Tom Hiddleston, and Jane Foster becomes inadvertently involved in the whole thing when she is sort of taken over by the Ether. It's a superhero movie. It moves at a nice pace. It doesn't feel too long. Tom Hiddleston is terrific as Loki. makes the movie far more watchable than it would normally otherwise be. And there are two post-credit scenes, one that happens in the middle of the credits and one that happens at the very end. The first one is setting up things for future films, and the last one is just a bit of romantic goofiness. The pseudoscience involved in this, normally when there's a scientific solution to the problem, they at least try to pretend to explain it to you. They don't even bother this time. They just sort of ramble off some mumbo jumbo and don't even try real hard to give you a grasp of how the problems are going to be solved, if they can be. Tom Hiddleston, Christopher Eccleston is kind of a forgettable villain as Malekith, and I don't know. The further I get away from the film, the less I like it. I was going to give it 4 guitars, but it's just a series of action set pieces strung together by a very weak story, and I'm only going to give it 3 guitars. Go to WIMZ.com to read my complete reviews, as well as to vote on the next film or films that I see next time. If you have any questions or comments, they're always welcome. Please send them to me at stanthemovieman@att.net. You can also follow me on Twitter @MovieManStan. Till next time, later.